Okay, here's the Sterling dementia story. So, Sterling's a guy that I dated back when my daughter was in third grade, and she's 30, so it's been a long time. And when I first started with coping with this diagnosis, I would stop someone and I'd say, Sterling! And he'd look at me and he'd go, Lady, I'm not Sterling. And then that happened to me with various responses, like one guy's all, hey, I wish I was Sterling. And so I saw him allegedly probably 4 or 5 times. And I've had this happen with a bunch of other people, but in particular, Sterling. And about 8 months ago, I went up to Santa Rosa to do this Qigong retreat. And I went to go to Whole Foods in between to get something that I wanted that they didn't have there. And I was in the grocery store and I saw this guy and he kind of looked like Sterling, and I thought, I'm not doing it this time. I'm not asking. I know it's not going to be Sterling. And I kept looking at him, and the more I kept seeing him, the more I was like, oh God, no, it's not. I'm not doing it. Every time I think it's Sterling, it's not Sterling. Sterling's a guy that came along every few years and brought flowers and said we were still going to get married, and he just kind of never gave up, and it was really endearing and sweet, and he was one of the funniest people that I've ever been around, and I liked him. I fell in love with him actually because of his sense of humor, and if I didn't have my sense of humor with this dementia, I would have killed myself a long time ago. So I thank God for a sense of humor. And the funny part is that the guy walked and he was bow-legged, and Sterling was bow-legged. And I forgot about that, and I went, oh my God, I have to ask him. So he was on the phone, and I was doing my shopping. I was trying not to look too much. He had sunglasses on, and I thought, okay, I'm doing it. So I went over, I go, what's your name? And he's like, Sterling. And I was like, oh my God, no way. So anyway, he didn't recognize me. I had been in this medical retreat for weeks and just completely in a whole zone. My hair was all whacked out, and he's like, what happened to your hair? So we kind of got in touch, and then he's been, I guess, seeing stuff on Facebook about the Course in Miracles that I teach and learn and passionately still am effective in, which I'm not effective in any of the mechanical operations of my life, making coffee, feeding myself, etc. But I seem to still be very, very effective in this Course in Miracles, and I think it's wonderful because it's the most important thing to me. And he's been asking me questions like, hey, what's this about? And I really feel like that there's always been a divine plan, and I am just so impressed that Spirit has kind of put us back together so he can maybe hear some messages that are going to bring some peace to his mind and some love to his heart and some awareness on how to remove the blocks to love's presence. And if he can get a little bit of the message that I've so happily received and shared, and peace of mind, that would be lovely. And it's just sweet that little face recognition problem was actually correct this time. So we'll see what happens with his path. Trust the Spirit. You don't know till you know.